A Better Way to Live, Simple Habits for a Healthier, Happier, and More Meaningful Life. Written and published by Rising Audiobook. Introduction. Have you ever reached a moment in life where everything looks fine on the outside, yet something inside still feels unfinished? You keep moving, keep working, keep chasing the next goal, but deep down you wonder, is this really all there is? For many people, life becomes a race without a destination. We collect achievements, responsibilities, possessions, and titles, hoping they will finally give us peace. But peace does not come from more noise, more pressure, or more speed. It comes from living with intention. This audiobook is not about becoming a perfect person. It is about discovering a better way to live, a simpler way, a healthier way, a happier way, a more meaningful way. Inside these chapters, you will find small habits with powerful results, practical ideas that strengthen your mind and body, and timeless principles that can transform ordinary days into a life you are proud to live. You will learn how to protect your energy, quiet your mind, build deeper relationships, and focus on what truly matters. And by the end, you may realize something important. A better life is not waiting somewhere far away. It begins with the choices you make today. Chapter 1. Redefining what it means to live well. What does it mean to live well? Most people answer this question with images of success. A high-paying job, a beautiful home, financial security, recognition, or the freedom to buy whatever they want. Society has taught us that these achievements are the ultimate proof of a life well lived. From an early age, we're encouraged to study harder, work longer, earn more, and constantly strive for the next milestone. But have you ever noticed something surprising? Many people who seem to have everything still struggle with stress, loneliness, anxiety, or a lingering feeling that something is missing. Their lives may look impressive from the outside, yet inside they feel disconnected from the happiness they expected success to bring. This isn't because success is bad. Success can create opportunities, comfort, and freedom. The problem begins when we mistake success for fulfillment. They are not the same thing. Imagine climbing a mountain for years, believing that reaching the top will finally make you happy. You sacrifice your health, relationships, and peace of mind along the way. Then, after all your effort, you stand at the summit only to realize the joy is temporary. Soon another mountain appears, and the cycle begins again. Many people spend their lives climbing mountains they never truly wanted to climb. Living well is not about endlessly chasing more. It is about knowing what is enough. It is about waking up with a sense of purpose, taking care of your body, enjoying meaningful relationships, finding satisfaction in your work, and ending each day with gratitude instead of regret. One of the greatest traps in modern life is comparison. Thanks to social media and constant connectivity, we are exposed to carefully edited versions of other people's lives every day. We see vacations, promotions, luxury cars, perfect families, and smiling faces. Rarely do we see the struggles behind those images. When we constantly compare ourselves with others, we begin measuring our own lives using someone else's standards. Instead of asking, "Am I becoming the person I want to be?" we ask, "Am I doing as well as everyone else?" Comparison steals contentment because there will always be someone with more money, more success, or more recognition. If happiness depends on being ahead of everyone else, it will always remain out of reach. A meaningful life begins when you stop living according to society's definition of success and start creating your own. Take a moment to imagine your ideal life, not the version that impresses strangers, but the one that genuinely brings you peace. Perhaps it includes having time for your family, enjoying good health, doing work that matters, learning new skills, traveling, helping others, or simply having the freedom to wake up without constant stress. Notice that many of these things cannot be purchased. They are built through daily choices. Living well also means paying attention to the present moment. Too often we postpone happiness. We tell ourselves, "I'll relax after I get promoted. I'll spend more time with my family after this busy season. I'll start taking care of myself next year." But life rarely slows down on its own. There will always be another deadline, another responsibility, another goal. If we keep waiting for the perfect time to enjoy life, we may discover that years have quietly slipped away. The healthiest, happiest people often share one important quality. They don't ignore ambition, but they refuse to let ambition control every part of their lives. They understand that success should support life, not replace it. They make time to exercise because they value energy over exhaustion. They protect their sleep because they know tomorrow depends on how they recover today. They nurture friendships because achievements mean little if there is no one to celebrate them with. They practice gratitude because appreciating what they already have creates more lasting happiness than endlessly chasing what they don't. Living well is not about living perfectly. No one gets everything right. Every person faces setbacks, disappointments, mistakes, and uncertainty. The difference lies in how we respond. Instead of constantly asking, "How can I have more?" we begin asking better questions. How can I become healthier? How can I strengthen my relationships? How can I use my time more wisely? How can I become kinder, calmer, and more resilient? These questions shift our focus from external achievements to internal growth. Throughout this audiobook, you'll discover that a meaningful life isn't built through one dramatic decision. It's built through hundreds of small choices repeated day after day. Every healthy meal, every thoughtful conversation, every moment of gratitude, every walk, every book you read, every act of kindness, these become the building blocks of a life that feels deeply satisfying. As we begin this journey together, remember one simple truth. You don't need a completely different life to become happier. You simply need a better way of living the life you already have. And that better way begins with redefining what living well truly means, not by the world's standards, but by your own. Chapter 2. Small Habits, Extraordinary Results. Have you ever promised yourself that this time would be different? You decide to wake up at 5 in the morning, exercise for an hour, eat perfectly, read a book every week, meditate daily, and completely transform your life overnight. For a few days, everything goes according to plan. You feel motivated, disciplined, and excited about your new beginning. Then life happens. You miss one workout because you're tired. You order fast food after a stressful day. You skip reading because you're busy. Soon the new routine disappears and you're back where you started, wondering why lasting change feels so difficult. The answer is simpler than most people realize. We often overestimate what we can accomplish in a single week and underestimate what we can achieve in a single year. The secret to lasting transformation isn't making massive changes. It's making small, consistent ones. Think about water dripping onto a rock. One drop seems powerless. It doesn't appear to make any difference, but over months and years, those tiny drops slowly shape the stone. The same principle applies to your life. Every small action may seem insignificant today, but together they shape the person you become. Your life is not determined by one extraordinary decision. It is determined by thousands of ordinary decisions repeated every day. The habits you practice daily quietly write the story of your future. Imagine two people. The first person decides to completely change their lifestyle. They exercise intensely for 2 weeks, follow a strict diet, and push themselves to the limit. But the routine is exhausting, and before long, they quit. Months later, they're back to old habits. The second person chooses a different approach. They begin with something almost too simple to notice. They walk for 20 minutes every day. They replace one sugary drink with water. They read 5 pages of a book before bed each night. None of these actions feel dramatic, but they never stop doing them. A year later, the difference is remarkable. The second person is healthier, wiser, more energetic, and more confident, not because they made bigger changes, but because they made sustainable ones. Consistency always beats intensity. Many people wait until they feel motivated before taking action. The problem is that motivation is unpredictable. Some mornings you wake up energized and excited. Other days you don't feel like doing anything productive. If your habits depend on motivation, your progress will always rise and fall with your emotions. Successful people understand something different. They don't rely on feeling inspired. They rely on systems. A system is simply a routine that makes the right choice easier than the wrong one. For example, if you want to read more, place a book on your bedside table instead of leaving your phone there. If you want to exercise regularly, prepare your workout clothes the night before. If you want to eat healthier, fill your kitchen with nutritious foods instead of unhealthy snacks. Your environment quietly shapes your behavior. Most of the time, we think our actions are controlled by willpower. In reality, our surroundings influence us far more than we realize. A cluttered workspace makes it harder to focus. A bedroom filled with glowing screens makes quality sleep more difficult. A kitchen stocked with junk food encourages unhealthy eating. Small adjustments to your environment create powerful changes without requiring constant self-control. Another important principle is to make habits so easy that failure becomes almost impossible. If reading 30 pages feels overwhelming, start with 3 pages. If running 5 kilometers seems intimidating, begin with a 10-minute walk. If meditating for 30 minutes feels difficult, simply spend 2 quiet minutes focusing on your breathing. These tiny actions may seem too small to matter, but they accomplish something incredibly important. They build identity. Every time you complete a healthy habit, no matter how small, you cast a vote for the person you want to become. When you read a few pages, you become someone who values learning. When you exercise, even briefly, you become someone who prioritizes health. When you keep your promises to yourself, you become someone who can be trusted. Over time, your identity changes before your results do. Many people quit because they expect immediate progress. They plant the seed today and expect fruit tomorrow. But life doesn't work that way. Progress is often invisible in the beginning. Think of planting a bamboo seed. For years it appears that nothing is happening above the ground, yet beneath the surface an extensive root system is developing. Once those roots are strong enough, the bamboo suddenly grows at an astonishing rate. Your habits work the same way. You may not notice changes after 1 week or even 1 month, but each healthy decision strengthens the invisible foundation beneath your life. Eventually, the results become impossible to ignore. This is why patience is one of the most valuable habits you can develop. Another mistake people make is believing that one bad day ruins everything. You miss one workout, you eat one unhealthy meal, you forget to journal, you skip your morning routine. None of these moments define you. What matters is avoiding the second mistake. Missing one day is an accident. Missing 2 becomes the beginning of a new habit. Whenever life interrupts your routine, simply return to it as quickly as possible. Progress isn't about never falling, it's about getting back up without wasting time blaming yourself. Remember, perfection is not the goal. Consistency is. As these small habits accumulate, they begin improving every part of your life. Better sleep gives you more energy. More energy helps you exercise. Exercise improves your mood and focus. Better focus increases productivity. Increased productivity reduces stress. Lower stress strengthens your relationships and improves your overall happiness. One positive habit often creates another, forming a chain reaction that transforms your life from the inside out. By the end of each day, ask yourself one simple question. What is one small action I can repeat tomorrow that my future self will thank me for? The answer doesn't need to be impressive. It only needs to be consistent. Because extraordinary lives are rarely built through extraordinary moments. They are built through ordinary habits, practiced with extraordinary commitment. Every healthy choice you make today is a gift to the person you will become tomorrow. Keep showing up, keep taking small steps, and trust the process. One day you'll look back and realize that the life you always hoped for wasn't created in a single breakthrough. It was built one habit at a time. Chapter 3. Mastering your mind. If there is one place where every victory and every defeat begins, it is the mind. Before you accomplish anything in the outside world, you first create it in your thoughts. Every decision, every habit, every relationship, and every goal is influenced by the conversations you have with yourself each day. Whether you realize it or not, your mind is constantly shaping the direction of your life. Imagine your mind as a garden. If you leave a garden unattended, weeds will naturally grow. You don't have to plant them. They appear on their own. But flowers, vegetables, and fruit require care attention, and consistent effort. The same is true for your thoughts. Negative thinking often grows automatically. Doubt, fear, worry, and self-criticism can quietly take over if we never question them. Positive thinking, on the other hand, isn't about pretending life is perfect. It's about intentionally planting thoughts that help us grow instead of holding us back. Many people believe they are limited by their circumstances, but more often they are limited by the stories they repeatedly tell themselves. I'm not smart enough. I'm too old. I'm too young. I always fail. I'm just not confident. These statements may feel true because they've been repeated so many times, but thoughts are not always facts. They are interpretations, and interpretations can change. Consider two people who both experience the same setback. They apply for a promotion and are turned down. The first person says, "I guess I'm not good enough. I'll never succeed." The second person says, "I'm disappointed, but this shows me what I need to improve." Both experienced the same event. The difference wasn't the situation, it was the mindset. Your interpretation of life often matters more than life itself. This doesn't mean ignoring problems or pretending everything is fine. It means choosing a response that helps you move forward rather than keeping you stuck. One of the greatest mental habits you can develop is awareness. Most people don't control their thoughts because they never pause long enough to notice them. Their minds jump from worry to distraction, from regret about the past to anxiety about the future. But when you become aware of your thinking, you create space between the thought and your reaction. Instead of immediately believing every negative thought, you can ask yourself, is this actually true? Is there another way to see this situation? What advice would I give someone I care about if they felt this way? These simple questions weaken the power of destructive thinking and strengthen wiser perspectives. Stress is another challenge that everyone faces. In today's world, stress has almost become a badge of honor. People proudly say they're busy, overwhelmed, and exhausted, as if these are signs of importance. But constant stress slowly drains both the mind and the body. While some stress can motivate us to act, chronic stress affects our sleep, relationships, concentration, and even our physical health. The good news is that we cannot always control stressful situations, but we can learn to manage our response. One powerful habit is learning to pause. When something unexpected happens, resist the urge to react immediately. Take one slow, deep breath. Give yourself a moment before speaking or making a decision. That brief pause often prevents words you'll regret and choices driven by emotion rather than wisdom. Another effective practice is focusing on what you can control. There will always be things outside your influence, other people's opinions, the economy, the weather, unexpected setbacks or past mistakes. Worrying endlessly about these things steals your energy without changing the outcome. Instead, ask yourself, what is one action I can take right now? Even a small action restores a sense of confidence because action replaces helplessness. Another important skill is learning to protect your attention. Your mind becomes what you repeatedly feed it. If your days are filled with endless bad news, constant arguments on social media, and negative conversations, your thinking will gradually reflect those influences. But if you spend time reading inspiring books, listening to thoughtful conversations, practicing gratitude, and surrounding yourself with encouraging people, your mind begins to change in a healthier direction. Just as you choose nutritious food for your body, choose nourishing information for your mind. Resilience is another quality that separates those who thrive from those who give up. Resilience doesn't mean you never feel discouraged. It means you recover more quickly after difficulties. Life will disappoint you at times. Plans will fail. People will let you down. Unexpected challenges will appear. These moments do not determine your future unless you allow them to define your identity. Think of a tree during a storm. A rigid tree that refuses to bend may snap under strong winds. A flexible tree bends with the storm and stands tall once it passes. Mental resilience works the same way. Flexibility is often stronger than stubbornness. One practical way to build resilience is through gratitude. At first, gratitude may sound simple, but it changes the way your brain notices the world. Instead of constantly searching for what's missing, You begin recognizing what is already present: a supportive friend, a healthy meal, a peaceful morning, a lesson learned from failure, the opportunity to begin again. Gratitude doesn't erase problems, but it prevents problems from becoming the only thing you see. Another powerful habit is speaking to yourself with kindness. Imagine hearing someone talk to your best friend the way many people talk to themselves. You're a failure. You'll never figure this out. You're not good enough. You would probably stop that conversation immediately. Yet many people repeat these words internally every day. Self-compassion isn't making excuses or lowering your standards. It's recognizing that growth happens faster when encouragement replaces constant criticism. Progress becomes easier when your inner voice becomes your coach instead of your enemy. Finally, remember that mastering your mind is not something you accomplish once. It is a lifelong practice. There will still be days when fear appears. There will still be moments of doubt, frustration, and uncertainty. The goal isn't to eliminate every negative thought. The goal is to become stronger than those thoughts. Every time you choose hope over fear, gratitude over complaint, learning over regret, and action over worry, you strengthen your mind. Little by little, these choices reshape the way you experience life. A calm mind makes wiser decisions. A resilient mind recovers from setbacks. A grateful mind finds joy in ordinary moments. And a disciplined mind creates a future that once seemed impossible. Remember this truth. Your circumstances do not have the final say over your life. Your mindset does. Master your mind, and you begin to master your life. Chapter 4. Protecting your physical health. Imagine waking up every morning feeling energized, focused, and ready to embrace the day. Your mind is clear, your body feels strong, and even unexpected challenges seem easier to handle. Now imagine the opposite. You wake up exhausted despite sleeping for hours. Simple tasks feel overwhelming. Your patience runs thin, and your motivation disappears before the day has truly begun. The difference between these two experiences often has less to do with luck and more to do with how well we care for our physical health. Many people think of health only when something goes wrong. We visit doctors when we're sick, search for solutions when we're in pain, and promise ourselves that we'll start taking better care after a health scare. But true health isn't built in moments of crisis. It's built quietly, day after day, through the small choices we make long before problems appear. Your body is the vehicle that carries you through every experience in life. Every dream you pursue, every relationship you cherish, and every opportunity you seize depends on the health of that vehicle. No matter how ambitious your goals may be, they become much harder to achieve if your body lacks the energy to support them. The good news is that protecting your health doesn't require expensive equipment, complicated diets, or extreme fitness routines. It begins with 4 simple pillars: quality sleep, nourishing food, proper hydration, and regular movement. Let's begin with sleep. In today's fast-paced world, sleep is often treated as a luxury instead of a necessity. People proudly say they only sleep 4 or 5 hours a night, believing that sacrificing rest is the price of success. But science and experience tell a different story. Sleep is when your body repairs itself. Your muscles recover, your immune system strengthens, your brain organizes memories, and your mind resets for the next day. Without enough quality sleep, your concentration declines, your mood becomes unstable, and your ability to make good decisions weakens. Think of your phone. No matter how advanced it is, eventually the battery runs low. You can continue using it for a while, but performance drops until it finally shuts down. Your body works the same way. Sleep is your nightly recharge. Creating a healthy sleep routine doesn't have to be complicated. Try going to bed and waking up at roughly the same time every day. Reduce screen time before bed, keep your bedroom calm and comfortable, and give your mind permission to slow down. These simple habits can dramatically improve both your energy and your mental clarity. The second pillar is nutrition. Food is much more than fuel. It is information that tells your body how to function. Every meal either supports your health or slowly works against it. This doesn't mean you need to follow a perfect diet or eliminate every treat you enjoy. A healthy lifestyle is built on balance, not restriction. Instead of asking, "What can't I eat?" ask a better question. What foods help me feel my best? Fresh fruits and vegetables provide essential vitamins and minerals. Whole grains offer lasting energy. Lean proteins help repair muscles and keep you satisfied. Healthy fats support brain function and heart health. Small improvements make a remarkable difference over time. Imagine replacing just one sugary drink each day with a glass of water, or adding one serving of vegetables to your lunch. These choices may seem insignificant today, but after months and years, they create a healthier body and reduce the risk of many chronic illnesses. The goal isn't perfection, it's progress. Hydration is another habit that many people underestimate. Our bodies are made largely of water, yet many of us spend our days mildly dehydrated without realizing it. Even slight dehydration can reduce concentration, increase fatigue, and affect mood. Often, when people think they need more coffee or another energy drink, what they really need is water. Keeping a reusable water bottle nearby is a simple reminder to drink throughout the day. Drinking water before meals, after exercise, and first thing in the morning are easy habits that require little effort but offer lasting benefits. Never underestimate how something so simple can improve the way you think and feel. The fourth pillar is movement. Notice that we didn't say exercise. Many people hear the word exercise and immediately picture exhausting workouts or intimidating gyms. While structured exercise is valuable, movement is much broader than that. Your body was designed to move: walking, stretching, gardening, dancing, playing with your children, taking the stairs, cycling around your neighborhood. Every movement matters. One of the biggest misconceptions is believing that if you can't spend an hour working out, it's not worth doing anything. But 20 minutes of walking every day is infinitely more valuable than planning the perfect workout you'll never begin. Consider two people. One buys expensive gym equipment, signs up for an ambitious fitness program, and exercises intensely for 2 weeks before quitting. The other simply commits to a 30-minute walk every evening after dinner. Rain or shine, busy or relaxed, they keep walking. After 1 year, the second person is likely healthier, more energetic, and far more consistent, not because their workouts were harder, but because they became part of everyday life. Consistency always wins. Physical health isn't only about preventing disease, it also shapes your emotions. Have you ever noticed how much better you feel after a walk outdoors or a good workout? Movement releases chemicals in the brain that reduce stress, improve mood, and increase feelings of well-being. Regular activity can ease anxiety, improve sleep, sharpen memory, and boost confidence. When you care for your body, you're also caring for your mind. Another important aspect of protecting your health is listening to your body. Modern culture often encourages us to ignore warning signs. We push through exhaustion, skip meals because we're busy, delay medical checkups, and convince ourselves that we'll deal with health later. But your body communicates with you every day. Persistent fatigue, frequent headaches, constant stress, poor sleep, lack of energy. These aren't inconveniences to ignore. They're messages asking for attention. Learning to respect those signals is an act of wisdom, not weakness. Health also involves recovery. Many people focus on productivity but forget that growth happens during rest. Muscles become stronger after recovery. The mind becomes clearer after quiet reflection. Energy returns after proper relaxation. Rest is not laziness. Rest is preparation. By allowing yourself time to recover, you make it possible to perform at your best tomorrow. Finally, remember that protecting your health is one of the greatest acts of self-respect. You don't exercise because you dislike your body. You exercise because you value it. You don't eat nourishing food because you're trying to punish yourself. You eat well because you want your body to serve you for decades to come. You don't prioritize sleep because you're avoiding work. You prioritize sleep because you want to do your best work. Every healthy choice sends yourself a powerful message. My future matters. You don't need to transform your entire lifestyle overnight. Begin with one habit. Take a walk after dinner. Drink another glass of water. Choose a healthier meal. Go to bed 30 minutes earlier. Repeat that habit tomorrow, then the next day, and the day after that. Over time, these simple actions become part of who you are. Your body is the only place you have to live for your entire life. Treat it with care, nourish it with intention, move it with gratitude, and allow it to rest with purpose. Because when your body is healthy, your mind becomes sharper, your relationships become richer, your work becomes stronger, and your life becomes fuller. Protect your health today, and it will reward you for years to come. Chapter 5. Finding Joy in Simplicity. When was the last time you truly slowed down? Not because you were forced to, but because you chose to. A moment when you sat quietly with a cup of coffee, watched the sunset without checking your phone, laughed with someone you love, or simply took a walk without rushing to your next destination. For many people, those moments have become rare. Modern life rewards speed. We celebrate busy schedules, overflowing calendars, and constant productivity. We rush through breakfast, hurry to work, multitask throughout the day, and spend our evenings catching up on emails or scrolling endlessly through social media. Somehow, even with all the technology designed to save us time, life often feels busier than ever. The strange part is that while we're constantly moving, many of us aren't actually moving toward greater happiness. Somewhere along the way, we've started believing that joy is always waiting in the future. I'll be happy when I get the promotion. I'll relax after I earn more money. I'll spend more time with my family once life settles down. I'll enjoy life after I finish this project. The problem is that there is always another promotion, another goal, another responsibility, another reason to postpone happiness. If we aren't careful, we spend our entire lives preparing to live instead of actually living. Finding joy in simplicity begins with understanding an important truth. Happiness is rarely found in extraordinary moments. More often, it grows quietly through ordinary ones. Think back to some of your happiest memories. They probably weren't created by expensive possessions or perfect circumstances. Perhaps they involved a family dinner filled with laughter, a meaningful conversation with a close friend, a peaceful morning watching the sunrise, or a quiet afternoon reading a favorite book. The moments that stay with us are often the simplest. One reason simplicity feels so refreshing is because it frees us from the endless pressure of wanting more. Modern advertising constantly tells us that we need something else to complete our lives: a newer phone, a bigger house, a nicer car, more fashionable clothes, or the latest trend. While there is nothing wrong with enjoying nice things, problems arise when we believe our happiness depends on constantly acquiring more. The truth is that every new possession eventually becomes ordinary. The excitement fades, the novelty disappears. Then we begin chasing the next thing. This cycle is known as the hedonic treadmill. We keep running toward happiness, but because our expectations continually rise, we often remain in the same emotional place. Simplicity invites us to step off that treadmill. It encourages us to appreciate what we already have instead of constantly focusing on what we lack. Gratitude is one of the simplest paths to a joyful life. When you intentionally notice the good around you, your perspective begins to shift. Instead of waking up and immediately thinking about everything you have to do, pause for a moment. Be grateful for another day, for your health, for your home, for clean water, for people who care about you, for opportunities to learn and grow. These blessings may seem ordinary, but they are extraordinary to someone who no longer has them. Gratitude doesn't eliminate challenges. It simply reminds us that difficulties are only one part of our story. Another way to embrace simplicity is by reducing unnecessary distractions. Consider how often your attention is divided. You eat while checking your phone. You watch television while answering messages. You spend time with family while thinking about work. Although your body is present, your mind is somewhere else. Real joy requires presence. Imagine two families sitting down for dinner. In the first family, everyone is focused on their phones. Conversations are short, eye contact is rare, and the meal passes quietly. In the second family, the phones are put away. People share stories about their day, laugh together, listen carefully, and enjoy each other's company. The food may be exactly the same, but the experience is completely different. The difference isn't money, it's attention. Where your attention goes, your life follows. Simplicity also means learning to say no. Many people feel overwhelmed, not because life demands too much, but because they have accepted too many unnecessary commitments. Every yes you give to something unimportant is often a no to something meaningful. Saying no to endless obligations allows you to say yes to your health, your family, your personal growth, and your peace of mind. This isn't selfish, it's wise. You cannot give your best to others if you constantly neglect yourself. Another powerful lesson is learning to appreciate enough. Contentment doesn't mean abandoning ambition or refusing to improve your life. It means recognizing that your worth is not determined by what you own or how much you achieve. You can continue growing while still appreciating where you are today. A tree doesn't rush to become taller. It grows steadily, season by season. Your life can unfold the same way. One small practice that encourages simplicity is spending time in nature. Nature has a remarkable way of reminding us what truly matters. A walk through a park, the sound of birds singing, the rhythm of ocean waves, the quiet beauty of a sunrise. These experiences cost very little, yet they nourish the soul in ways that expensive entertainment often cannot. Nature teaches patience. It reminds us that growth happens gradually and that every season has its purpose. Another important habit is creating moments of stillness. Our minds are constantly filled with information, notifications, opinions, and noise. Without quiet moments, it's difficult to hear our own thoughts. Even 5 or 10 minutes of silence each day can help you reconnect with yourself. Sit without distractions. Take slow breaths. Reflect on your day. Notice how you feel. Sometimes the greatest clarity arrives when we stop trying to fill every empty moment. Finally, remember that simplicity is not about living with less for the sake of having less. It's about making room for more of what truly matters. More meaningful conversations, more laughter, more health, more peace, more gratitude, more presence, more love. These are the things that create a rich life. Years from now, you probably won't remember every email you answered or every task you completed. But you'll remember the moments you shared with people you loved, the lessons you learned, the kindness you received, and the simple joys that made life beautiful. A better life isn't always found by adding more. Sometimes it's found by removing what doesn't matter. Slow down. Take a deep breath. Look around. The life you've been searching for may not be waiting somewhere in the future. It may already be here, hidden inside the ordinary moments you've been rushing past. When you learn to appreciate life's simple gifts, you discover something extraordinary. Happiness was never far away. It was quietly waiting for you to notice it. Chapter 6. Building relationships that enrich your life. Imagine achieving every goal you've ever dreamed of. You build a successful career, earn financial freedom, travel the world, and acquire everything you once desired. But at the end of the day, you have no one to share your victories with. No close friends to celebrate your achievements, no family to comfort you during difficult times, and no meaningful conversations that make you feel truly understood. Would that really be success? For most people, the answer is no. At the heart of a meaningful life are meaningful relationships. Long after our accomplishments fade and our possessions lose their value, the people we love and the memories we create together remain. Human beings are not designed to live in isolation. We thrive through connection, encouragement, and belonging. Yet despite living in the most connected era in history, many people have never felt more alone. We have thousands of followers, but very few people we can call in the middle of the night when life falls apart. We exchange countless messages, but rarely have deep conversations. We know what someone ate for lunch because they posted it online, yet we don't know what they're struggling with inside. True connection cannot be measured by the number of contacts in your phone. It is measured by trust, understanding, and genuine care. One of the greatest gifts you can offer another person is your full attention. In today's distracted world, attention has become increasingly rare. Conversations are constantly interrupted by buzzing phones, incoming emails, and wandering thoughts. We often hear someone's words without truly listening to what they're trying to say. Real listening is much more than waiting for your turn to speak. It means putting away distractions, maintaining eye contact, asking thoughtful questions, seeking to understand rather than preparing your next response. Imagine two friends meeting for coffee after months apart. One friend spends most of the conversation checking notifications, glancing at their phone every few minutes, and responding with short, distracted answers. The other friend puts the phone away completely, listens carefully, asks meaningful questions, and remembers important details from previous conversations. Which friendship is more likely to grow stronger? The answer is obvious. People don't simply remember what you said. They remember how you made them feel. When someone feels genuinely heard, they also feel valued. Communication is another cornerstone of healthy relationships. Many conflicts don't arise because people have bad intentions. They happen because expectations are unclear, emotions remain unspoken, or assumptions replace honest conversations. Healthy communication requires courage. Sometimes it means expressing appreciation before it's too late. Sometimes it means admitting you've made a mistake. Sometimes it means apologizing sincerely without making excuses. And sometimes it means having difficult conversations with kindness rather than avoiding them altogether. Strong relationships aren't built by pretending problems don't exist. They're built by facing challenges together with honesty and respect. Equally important is learning to communicate with empathy. Empathy means trying to understand another person's experience, even when it's different from your own. Instead of immediately offering advice or judgment, try asking yourself, what might this person be feeling right now? This simple shift changes the quality of every relationship. People rarely need someone to solve all their problems. Often, they simply need someone willing to stand beside them while they face those problems. Healthy relationships also require healthy boundaries. Many people misunderstand boundaries, believing they are selfish or unkind. In reality, boundaries protect relationships by creating mutual respect. You cannot constantly say yes to everyone else while saying no to your own well-being. If you're always exhausted, overwhelmed, or emotionally drained, you eventually have very little left to give. Setting boundaries may mean protecting time with your family. It may mean limiting work after certain hours. It may mean respectfully declining commitments that don't align with your priorities. Or it may mean distancing yourself from relationships that repeatedly damage your peace of mind. Not every relationship is meant to last forever. Some people inspire your growth. Others hold you back. Toxic relationships often leave you feeling criticized, manipulated, constantly anxious, or emotionally exhausted. Choosing distance from those relationships isn't an act of anger. It's an act of wisdom. Compassion doesn't require allowing others to repeatedly harm your emotional well-being. Sometimes the healthiest decision is to forgive without continuing the same unhealthy pattern. At the same time, remember that no relationship is perfect. Every friendship, every marriage, every family experiences misunderstandings. The goal isn't to avoid conflict. The goal is learning how to repair it. Forgiveness plays an important role in this process. Holding on to resentment is like carrying a heavy backpack every day. The person who hurt you may have moved on long ago, but you're still carrying the emotional weight. Forgiveness doesn't mean pretending the hurt never happened. It doesn't mean trusting someone who repeatedly breaks that trust. It simply means choosing not to let bitterness control your future. One of the most overlooked habits for building stronger relationships is expressing gratitude. How often do we assume people already know how much we appreciate them? A simple thank you, a handwritten note, a sincere compliment, a phone call just to check in. These small gestures often strengthen relationships far more than expensive gifts. Love and friendship grow through consistent acts of kindness, not occasional grand gestures. Quality time is another investment that pays lifelong dividends. In our busy lives, it's easy to assume that simply being around someone is enough. But meaningful connection requires intentional presence. Share meals together, take walks, play games, travel when possible, create traditions, celebrate milestones. Even simple routines like talking over morning coffee or taking an evening walk together become treasured memories over time. Years later, people rarely remember how busy you were. They remember whether you made time for them. Finally, never underestimate the ripple effect of kindness. A smile, an encouraging word, helping a neighbor, listening without judgment, supporting someone during a difficult season. These actions may seem small, but they often leave lasting impressions that you may never fully see. Relationships are not built in a single moment. They are built one conversation, one act of generosity, one moment of patience, and one shared experience at a time. As you continue your journey toward a better way to live, remember this simple truth. Success becomes more meaningful when it is shared. The happiest people are rarely those who have accumulated the most possessions. They are often the ones who have invested deeply in the people around them. At the end of life, no one wishes they had spent more time answering emails or accumulating more things. They wish they had laughed more with friends, spent more evenings with family, forgiven sooner, loved more openly, and made the people who mattered feel truly valued. Protect your relationships with the same care you protect your health. Listen with your full attention, speak with honesty, forgive with wisdom, love with generosity. Because in the end, the richest life is not measured by what you own. It is measured by the hearts you've touched and the relationships you've nurtured along the way. Chapter 7. Living with Purpose. Every day. Have you ever reached the end of a busy day and wondered, what did I actually accomplish today? You answered emails, attended meetings, completed errands, paid bills, and crossed several tasks off your to-do list. You were busy from morning until night, yet something still felt missing. Despite all your activity, there was little sense of fulfillment. This is one of the greatest challenges of modern life. We often confuse being busy with living purposefully. Activity is not the same as meaning. You can fill every hour of your day and still feel as though you're drifting through life without a clear direction. Purpose changes that. Purpose is the reason behind what you do. It is the invisible force that gives ordinary actions extraordinary significance. It helps you wake up with intention instead of simply reacting to whatever the day brings. Many people believe that purpose is something dramatic, a once-in-a-lifetime discovery reserved for artists, entrepreneurs, or world-changing leaders. They imagine that one day a magical moment of clarity will arrive, revealing exactly what they are meant to do. But for most people, purpose doesn't appear all at once. It is discovered gradually through curiosity, experience, service, and consistent action. Purpose is less about finding one perfect calling and more about living each day in a way that reflects your deepest values. The first step toward living with purpose is understanding what truly matters to you. If everything you own disappeared tomorrow, what would still give your life meaning? Would it be your family, your friendships, your health, your faith, your ability to help others, your creativity, your desire to keep learning? These answers reveal your core values. Values are like a compass. They don't tell you exactly where to go, but they help you stay pointed in the right direction. Without values, it's easy to let society decide what success should look like. We chase promotions because everyone else is chasing them. We buy things because everyone else owns them. We compare our progress with people who may want completely different lives. Eventually, we wake up wondering why we feel empty after achieving goals that never truly belong to us. Living with purpose means choosing your own definition of success. Imagine two builders working side by side. One believes he's simply laying bricks because it's his job. The other believes he's helping build a school where children will learn, grow, and shape the future. Both perform the same work, yet one experiences far greater meaning because he sees the larger purpose behind his daily effort. The work hasn't changed, the perspective has. The same principle applies to your own life. Whether you're a teacher, parent, student, business owner, healthcare worker, mechanic, artist, or office employee, your work becomes more meaningful when you connect it to the positive difference it creates. Even routine tasks can become acts of purpose when you remember who benefits from them. Purpose also gives you resilience during difficult seasons. When challenges arise, people driven only by comfort often give up quickly. But people guided by purpose keep moving because they know their efforts serve something greater than temporary emotions. Think about athletes training for a championship. There are mornings when they don't feel like waking up early. There are days when every muscle aches. There are moments when progress seems painfully slow. Yet they continue because their purpose is stronger than their discomfort. The same is true in everyday life. Purpose helps you continue learning when studying becomes difficult. It helps you remain faithful to healthy habits when motivation disappears. It helps you rebuild after setbacks because you understand that obstacles are part of the journey, not the end of it. Another important lesson is that purpose grows through service. One of the fastest ways to experience a meaningful life is to improve someone else's. This doesn't require changing the entire world. Sometimes purpose is found in small acts of kindness, helping a coworker solve a problem, encouraging a friend during a difficult season, teaching a child, volunteering in your community, supporting a family member, listening without judgment. These moments remind us that our lives become richer when they contribute to the lives of others. Ironically, the more we focus exclusively on ourselves, the more empty life often feels. The more we focus on serving others, the more meaningful our own lives become. Purpose also requires alignment. Imagine rowing a boat with one oar pointing forward and the other pointing backward. No matter how hard you work, you'll simply move in circles. Many people live this way. They say health is important, yet they never exercise. They say family comes first, yet they rarely spend meaningful time together. They value learning, yet they never open a book. Their actions and values move in opposite directions. Living purposefully means bringing your daily habits into alignment with what you claim matters most. This doesn't require perfection. It requires honesty. At the end of each day, ask yourself, did my choices reflect my values today? If the answer is yes, you're moving in the right direction. If the answer is no, tomorrow offers another opportunity to adjust your course. Purpose is not something you achieve once and then forget. It must be renewed every day through intentional choices. Some days those choices will feel exciting, other days they will feel ordinary. But never underestimate the power of ordinary faithfulness. A parent preparing breakfast for their children, a nurse comforting a frightened patient, a teacher encouraging a struggling student, a friend making time to listen. These moments may never appear in the headlines, yet they quietly change lives. Another important truth is that your purpose will likely evolve. The purpose you have in your 20s may differ from your purpose in your 40s or 70s. Life changes, responsibilities change, opportunities change. Growth often reveals new ways to contribute. Don't be afraid of that evolution. Stay curious, keep learning, remain open to where life invites you next. Finally, remember that purpose isn't measured by fame, wealth, or recognition. Some of the most purposeful people live quiet lives. They raise loving families, serve their communities, encourage those around them, work with integrity, treat people with kindness, and leave the world better than they found it. Their names may never appear in history books, but their influence lives on in the hearts and lives they touch. As you continue your journey toward a better way to live, let purpose become your daily guide. Don't wait for the perfect opportunity. Don't wait until life becomes easier. Begin today. Choose one action that reflects your values. Take one step toward becoming the person you want to be. Help one person. Learn one new lesson. Express one act of gratitude. Because a meaningful life is not built through one extraordinary achievement. It is built through thousands of purposeful choices made one day at a time. When your actions align with your values, even the ordinary becomes extraordinary. And that is what it truly means to live with purpose every day. Chapter 8. The Art of Emotional Balance. Life has a way of testing us when we least expect it. A careless comment from a co-worker ruins your mood. A delayed flight disrupts your plans. A disagreement with someone you love leaves you frustrated. A sudden setback makes you question your progress. In moments like these, it can feel as though life is happening to you and your emotions are in complete control. But what if there were another way? What if true strength wasn't about avoiding difficult emotions, but learning how to respond to them with wisdom? That is the art of emotional balance. Many people believe that emotionally strong individuals never feel angry, disappointed, anxious, or hurt. In reality, they experience the same emotions as everyone else. The difference is that they don't allow those emotions to make every decision for them. Emotions are like the weather. Some days are bright and peaceful. Others are stormy and unpredictable. You cannot control every storm that passes through your life, but you can learn how to prepare for it. Just as you wouldn't build a house without a strong foundation, you shouldn't build your life on emotions that constantly change. One of the most important lessons you can learn is the difference between reacting and responding. A reaction is immediate. It is driven by impulse. A response is thoughtful. It is guided by intention. Imagine receiving a harsh email from a colleague. Your first impulse might be to fire back an equally angry reply. In that moment, your emotions are in charge. Now imagine reading the email, taking a deep breath, stepping away for a few minutes, and returning later with a calmer mind. You still address the issue, but your words are measured instead of emotional. The situation hasn't changed. You have. That small pause often determines whether a conflict grows worse or becomes an opportunity for understanding. Creating space between emotion and action is one of the greatest signs of emotional maturity. Another essential skill is learning to identify your emotions instead of being controlled by them. Many people say, "I'm angry," or "I'm anxious," as though those feelings define who they are. A healthier approach is to say, "I feel angry," or "I feel anxious." The difference may seem small, but it is powerful. Your emotions are experiences. They are not your identity. Just because you feel discouraged today doesn't mean you are a discouraged person. Just because you experience fear doesn't mean you are weak. Feelings come and go, but your character is built by the choices you make while experiencing those feelings. Self-awareness is the foundation of emotional balance. Throughout the day, take a moment to check in with yourself. Ask simple questions. What am I feeling right now? What caused this emotion? Is my reaction helping or hurting the situation? These questions create awareness, and awareness creates choice. Without awareness, emotions control your behavior automatically. With awareness, you regain the ability to choose your response. Another powerful habit is accepting that not everything is within your control. Much of our emotional suffering comes from trying to control people, events, and outcomes that simply cannot be controlled. You cannot control how others behave. You cannot control unexpected setbacks. You cannot control every opinion people have about you, but you can always control your attitude, your actions, and your character. Imagine holding a handful of sand. The tighter you squeeze, the more sand slips through your fingers. Life often works the same way. The harder we try to control everything, the more frustrated we become. Peace begins when we focus our energy on what is truly within our reach. Gratitude is another powerful tool for maintaining emotional balance. When life becomes difficult, the mind naturally focuses on problems. This is part of human nature, but gratitude gently shifts your attention toward what is still good. Perhaps today wasn't perfect, but maybe someone smiled at you. Maybe your family is healthy. Maybe you learned an important lesson. Maybe you have another opportunity to try again tomorrow. Gratitude doesn't deny hardship. It simply refuses to let hardship become the whole story. Patience is equally important. We live in a world that promises instant results. Fast food, instant messages, next-day delivery. Because of this, we often expect personal growth to happen just as quickly. When it doesn't, frustration follows. But meaningful change has always required time. A seed doesn't become a tree overnight. A child doesn't become an adult in a single season. Your emotional growth follows the same natural rhythm. Every difficult experience teaches something. Every challenge strengthens resilience. Every setback develops wisdom if you choose to learn from it. One of the healthiest ways to process emotions is through honest expression. Suppressing emotions doesn't make them disappear. It often causes them to surface later in unhealthy ways. Talk with someone you trust. Write in a journal. Pray. Meditate. Take a walk. Find healthy outlets that allow emotions to move through you rather than remain trapped inside. There is strength in acknowledging how you feel. There is even greater strength in refusing to let those feelings define your future. Forgiveness is another important part of emotional balance. Holding on to resentment is exhausting. Every time you replay an old hurt, you allow yesterday's pain to steal today's peace. Forgiveness does not mean excusing harmful behavior. It does not mean forgetting what happened. It means choosing freedom over bitterness. You stop allowing the past to control your present. That decision benefits you as much as anyone else. Surrounding yourself with emotionally healthy people also makes a tremendous difference. Emotions are contagious. Spend enough time with people who constantly complain, criticize, or expect the worst, and you'll begin to adopt the same outlook. Spend time with people who encourage growth, express gratitude, and face challenges with hope, and their perspective will influence yours as well. Choose relationships that strengthen your peace rather than disturb it. Finally, remember that emotional balance is not the absence of emotion. It is the ability to experience life's highs and lows without losing yourself. You will still face disappointment. You will still experience grief. You will still feel fear, frustration, and uncertainty. These emotions are part of being human. The goal is not to eliminate them. The goal is to prevent them from becoming the captain of your life. Every calm breath taken before reacting, every kind word spoken during conflict, every moment of gratitude in the middle of hardship, every act of forgiveness that releases old pain. These are quiet victories that shape a stronger character. Over time, these small victories transform the way you experience the world. You become less reactive and more thoughtful, less anxious and more confident, less controlled by circumstances and more guided by wisdom. True emotional balance is not about having a perfect life. It is about developing the inner strength to remain steady when life is anything but perfect. And when you master your emotions instead of being mastered by them, you discover one of the greatest freedoms life has to offer: the ability to remain calm, compassionate, and hopeful, no matter what challenges come your way. Chapter 9. Taking control of your time. Every person on earth receives the same gift each morning. 24 hours, not 25. Not 23. Whether you're a student, a business owner, a parent, an artist, or a world leader, no one receives more time than anyone else. Yet by the end of the year, some people have built healthier bodies, stronger relationships, successful careers, and meaningful lives, while others feel as though another year disappeared without much to show for it. The difference is rarely the amount of time available. The difference is how that time is used. Time is the one resource you can never earn back. If you lose money, you can make more. If you lose a possession, you can replace it. But every minute that passes becomes part of your past forever. That realization isn't meant to create fear. It's meant to create intention. Imagine someone gave you $86,400 every morning with one condition. Whatever you didn't spend by midnight would disappear forever. Most people would carefully consider how to use every dollar. Interestingly, every day gives you something even more valuable, 86,400 seconds. Unlike money, you cannot save them. You cannot borrow more. You cannot recover the ones you've wasted. The only question is how wisely you choose to invest them. One of the biggest myths about time management is that it's really about managing time. It isn't. Time moves at the same speed for everyone. What we're actually managing is ourselves, our priorities, our attention, and our choices. Many people spend their days reacting instead of leading. They wake up and immediately check their phones. Notifications dictate their attention. Emails determine their priorities. Social media fills every spare moment. By evening, they're exhausted but unsure where the day actually went. Does this sound familiar? If so, you're not alone. Modern life is designed to compete for your attention. Every app, advertisement, and notification wants a small piece of your focus. Individually, they seem harmless, but together they quietly consume hours that could have been invested in something far more meaningful. Consider two people. The first person wakes up and spends the first hour scrolling through social media, checking messages, and reading random news updates. Throughout the day, they continue reaching for their phone whenever they experience boredom, stress, or even a few free minutes. By bedtime, they've spent 4 or 5 hours looking at a screen, yet they struggle to remember anything valuable they gained from it. The second person follows a different routine. They begin the day with a short walk, a healthy breakfast, and 10 minutes of planning. They check messages at scheduled times instead of constantly reacting to notifications. They set aside time to read, exercise, and enjoy dinner with family without distractions. Both people started with the same 24 hours. But after 1 year, their lives look dramatically different. Small decisions about time create extraordinary differences over time. The first step toward taking control of your time is identifying what truly matters. Not every task deserves equal attention. Some activities move your life forward. Others simply keep you busy. Ask yourself a simple question. If I could accomplish only 3 important things today, what would they be? This question forces you to separate the essential from the merely urgent. Urgent tasks demand immediate attention. Important tasks create long-term value. Unfortunately, many people spend so much time putting out small fires that they never build the life they actually want. Reading to improve your knowledge may not feel urgent. Exercising today may not seem urgent. Calling your parents may not feel urgent. Spending quality time with your children may not appear urgent. But years later, these are often the things that matter most. Another powerful habit is learning to say no. Every commitment has a hidden cost. When you say yes to something unnecessary, you're saying no to something else. Perhaps you're saying no to rest, no to exercise, no to family dinner, no to reading, no to your own peace of mind. Successful people aren't successful because they do everything. They're successful because they focus on the few things that matter most. Learning to decline unnecessary commitments isn't selfish. It's responsible. One of the greatest enemies of time is distraction. Our brains are not designed for constant multitasking. Despite what many people believe, multitasking usually means switching rapidly between tasks, and each switch costs valuable mental energy. When you're writing an email while checking your phone, listening to a podcast, and thinking about tomorrow's meeting, none of those activities receives your full attention. The result is slower work, more mistakes, and greater stress. Deep focus produces better results in less time. Try giving one task your complete attention. Even 30 uninterrupted minutes can accomplish more than 2 distracted hours. Planning also transforms the way you use your time. Imagine setting out on a road trip without a destination. You might enjoy the scenery, but eventually you'll wonder where you're going. Life works the same way. Each morning, spend a few minutes deciding what success will look like for that day. Write down your priorities. Estimate how long important tasks will take. Leave room for unexpected events. A simple plan creates clarity and reduces decision fatigue. Remember, the goal isn't filling every minute with activity. The goal is filling your time with what truly matters. Rest deserves a place on that list as well. Many people believe productivity means working non-stop. In reality, constant work eventually produces exhaustion instead of excellence. Your mind, like your muscles, needs recovery. Think about professional athletes. They don't become stronger by training every minute of every day. They improve because they balance effort with recovery. The same principle applies to your life. Taking breaks, sleeping well, spending time in nature, laughing with friends, enjoying hobbies. These activities are not distractions from a meaningful life. They are part of it. Relationships also deserve intentional time. One of the greatest regrets people express later in life is not wishing they had worked more hours. Instead, they wish they had spent more time with people they loved. Children grow quickly. Parents grow older. Friendships fade if neglected. No amount of professional success can replace moments that were never shared. Schedule time for the people who matter. Don't assume you'll find time someday. Make time today. Learning is another worthwhile investment. Even 20 minutes of reading each day adds up to dozens of books over several years. A short online course, a meaningful conversation, a new skill practiced consistently. Small investments of time create enormous personal growth. Finally, remember that taking control of your time is really about taking control of your life. Every hour reflects a choice. Every day becomes a chapter. Every year tells a story. Ask yourself honestly, is the way I'm spending my time leading me toward the life I truly want? If the answer is no, don't feel discouraged. Every sunrise offers another opportunity to choose differently. You don't need to redesign your entire schedule overnight. Start with one improvement. Wake up 30 minutes earlier. Turn off unnecessary notifications. Take a walk instead of endlessly scrolling. Eat dinner without your phone. Read 10 pages before bed. Protect one uninterrupted hour for meaningful work. These small changes may seem insignificant today, but like every positive habit we've discussed throughout this audiobook, they compound. Weeks become months, months become years. And one day you'll look back with gratitude, realizing that your life wasn't transformed by one extraordinary decision. It was transformed by the ordinary moments you chose to use wisely. Because at the end of life, people rarely regret not owning more possessions. They regret the time they didn't spend with loved ones, the dreams they postponed, the opportunities they ignored, the moments they rushed through. Protect your time as you would protect your greatest treasure. Spend it with intention. Invest it in what matters. And remember this simple truth. A meaningful life isn't measured by how busy you were. It's measured by how wisely you used the time you were given. Chapter 10. Growing through lifelong learning. One of the greatest myths people believe is that learning ends when school does. The day we graduate, receive a certificate, or begin a career, many of us unconsciously shift from being students of life to simply repeating the same routines every day. We become busy with responsibilities, deadlines, and obligations. Slowly, curiosity fades. We stop asking questions, stop exploring new ideas, and begin relying only on what we already know. But the world never stops changing. Technology evolves, industries transform. New discoveries reshape the way we work and live. The people who continue to grow are not necessarily the smartest or the most talented. They are the ones who never stop learning. Lifelong learning is not about collecting degrees or reading hundreds of books simply to appear knowledgeable. It is about developing a mindset that remains curious, adaptable, and open to improvement. It is the belief that no matter your age or experience, there is always something new to discover. Imagine two people who begin the same job on the same day. Both are equally skilled and equally motivated. The first person believes they already know enough. They perform the same tasks year after year without seeking new knowledge or improving their abilities. The second person spends just 20 minutes each day learning something related to their profession. They read articles, listen to educational podcasts, ask experienced colleagues thoughtful questions, and practice new skills whenever possible. At first, there seems to be little difference between them. After a month, the difference is still difficult to notice. After a year, however, the second person has gained dozens of new skills, developed greater confidence, and become more valuable to both themselves and their organization. The gap wasn't created by one dramatic breakthrough. It was created by small lessons accumulated over time. This is the power of continuous learning. Growth rarely happens in giant leaps. More often, it happens quietly through consistent improvement. Just as water shapes stone drop by drop, knowledge transforms your life lesson by lesson. One of the most valuable qualities you can develop is curiosity. Children naturally ask questions about everything. They want to know how things work, why the sky changes color, why birds fly, and why people behave the way they do. Their curiosity allows them to learn rapidly. As adults, however, we sometimes become afraid of asking questions because we worry about looking inexperienced or uninformed. Yet, asking thoughtful questions is not a sign of weakness. It is a sign of wisdom. People who continue asking questions continue growing. They understand that learning begins the moment they admit they do not know everything. Another important part of lifelong learning is developing a growth mindset. People with a fixed mindset believe that intelligence, talent, and ability are largely permanent. They think, "I'm just not good at this," and stop trying. People with a growth mindset think differently. They believe abilities improve through practice, effort, and experience. Instead of saying, "I can't do this," they say, "I can't do this yet." That single word, "yet," changes everything. It transforms failure into possibility. Every expert was once a beginner. Every successful entrepreneur once made mistakes. Every accomplished musician once played the wrong notes. Every confident public speaker once felt nervous standing in front of an audience. Skill is rarely something people are born with. It is usually the result of patient, consistent practice. Failure is one of life's greatest teachers, yet many people fear it more than anything else. The truth is that failure is not the opposite of success. It is often part of success. Imagine learning to ride a bicycle. Almost everyone falls, sometimes more than once. If falling meant you weren't meant to ride, no one would ever learn. Instead, each fall teaches balance, coordination, and confidence until riding becomes natural. Life works the same way. Every mistake contains valuable information if you're willing to learn from it. Instead of asking, "Why did this happen to me?" try asking, "What can this experience teach me?" That simple shift transforms disappointment into education. Learning also requires humility. No matter how experienced or successful you become, there will always be someone who knows something you don't. Wisdom begins when pride ends. The most respected leaders, innovators, and thinkers often remain lifelong students because they understand that knowledge has no finish line. They listen carefully, they read regularly, they seek feedback, they remain open to changing their opinions when presented with better evidence. This flexibility allows them to continue growing long after others have become comfortable. Books remain one of the greatest investments in personal growth. Within their pages are the lessons, failures, and successes of people who spent decades discovering what they share in just a few hours of reading. A single idea from one book can change the direction of your career, improve your relationships, strengthen your health, or transform the way you think about life. Learning, however, extends far beyond books. Every conversation teaches something. Every journey expands your perspective. Every challenge develops resilience. Every person you meet has experiences you have never lived. Approach life with the attitude that everyone has something valuable to teach you. Another important habit is applying what you learn. Knowledge alone changes very little. Action creates transformation. You can read dozens of books about fitness, but unless you begin exercising, your health remains the same. You can study communication for years, but unless you practice listening and speaking, your relationships won't improve. Learning reaches its full value only when it becomes action. A simple approach is to ask yourself after reading a chapter, listening to a podcast, or attending a seminar, what is one idea I can apply today? Even one small action creates momentum. As these actions accumulate, they reshape your habits, your confidence, and eventually your identity. The greatest competition in life is not against other people. It is against the person you were yesterday. If you become just 1% wiser, kinder, healthier, or more skilled each day, those small improvements compound into extraordinary growth over time. Never allow age to convince you that learning has an expiration date. Some people discover new passions in their 50s. Others start businesses in their 60s. Many learn new languages, instruments, or careers long after they believed such opportunities had passed. As long as you remain curious, you remain capable of growth. Remember, education is not merely something you receive. It is something you pursue every single day. The moment you stop learning, you begin standing still while the world moves forward. But when you choose curiosity over comfort, growth over complacency, and progress over perfection, you unlock possibilities you never imagined. A better life is built by becoming a better person, and becoming a better person begins with becoming a lifelong learner. Keep asking questions, keep exploring, keep improving. Because every lesson you learn today becomes a stronger foundation for the life you will live tomorrow. Chapter 11. Creating a life of positive impact. At some point in life, almost everyone asks the same question: will my life really matter? It is a question that goes far beyond career success, financial security, or personal achievement. Deep inside, we all want to know that our presence made the world a little better. We want to believe that our time, our efforts, and our relationships had meaning beyond ourselves. Many people spend years chasing success, believing that reaching the next milestone will finally bring lasting fulfillment. They work harder, earn more, and collect accomplishments. Yet even after achieving those goals, many discover that something is still missing. Why? Because success satisfies the mind for a while, but contribution satisfies the heart. The happiest and most fulfilled people are often those who understand a simple truth. Life becomes richer when it is shared with others. The more we focus only on ourselves, the smaller our world becomes. But when we begin helping, encouraging, and serving others, our own lives gain a deeper sense of purpose. Creating a positive impact doesn't require extraordinary wealth, worldwide fame, or a position of power. Every person, regardless of their background, has the ability to influence someone else's life. Sometimes that influence is much smaller than we imagine, but far greater than we realize. Think about a teacher who encourages a struggling student. A few words of belief may inspire that student to pursue dreams they once thought were impossible. Think about a neighbor who checks on an elderly person living alone. That simple visit may be the brightest moment of someone's entire week. Think about a stranger who offers kindness to someone having a difficult day. A smile, a compliment, or a helping hand may arrive at exactly the moment it is needed most. These actions may seem ordinary, yet they create ripples that continue long after the moment has passed. Imagine dropping a small stone into a still lake. The stone disappears almost instantly, but the ripples continue spreading outward, reaching places far beyond where the stone first landed. Kindness works the same way. One thoughtful action often inspires another. One encouraging conversation gives someone hope. That hopeful person becomes more patient with their family. Their family treats others with greater kindness. The ripple continues in ways we may never fully witness. This is why small acts of generosity should never be underestimated. Many people delay making a difference because they believe they must wait until they have more money, more experience, or more free time. I'll help others after I become successful. I'll volunteer when life becomes less busy. I'll be generous when I earn more. But generosity is not measured by the size of the gift. It is measured by the willingness to give. Sometimes giving means sharing your knowledge. Sometimes it means offering your time. Sometimes it means listening without interrupting. Sometimes it means encouraging someone who has lost confidence. These gifts cost very little, yet they often become priceless to the person receiving them. One of the greatest ways to create positive impact is simply by becoming the kind of person others enjoy being around. Your attitude influences every room you enter. Do you bring encouragement or criticism, hope or negativity, patience or frustration? People may forget your exact words, but they rarely forget how you made them feel. Every interaction leaves an impression. Choose to leave people feeling respected, appreciated, and valued. Another important principle is serving others without losing yourself. Many generous people eventually become exhausted because they believe saying yes to everyone is the same as being kind. It isn't. Healthy service includes healthy boundaries. You cannot pour from an empty cup. If you constantly neglect your own health, relationships, and emotional well-being, eventually your ability to help others begins to disappear. Taking care of yourself is not selfish. It is responsible. When you are physically healthy, emotionally balanced, and mentally strong, you are better equipped to support those around you. Remember the instruction given on airplanes during safety demonstrations. Put on your own oxygen mask before helping someone else. The same wisdom applies to everyday life. Strong people create stronger communities. Another powerful way to leave a positive impact is through integrity. Integrity means doing the right thing even when no one is watching. It means keeping your promises. Being honest when dishonesty would be easier. Treating every person with dignity regardless of their position or status. Living according to your values even when it costs something. Character is one of the few possessions that grows stronger every time you use it. People may admire talent, they may respect success, but they trust integrity. Trust is the foundation of every meaningful relationship, every successful team, and every healthy community. Building trust takes years. Losing it can happen in a single moment. Protect it carefully. Your example often teaches more than your advice. Children pay more attention to what parents do than what they say. Employees notice how leaders behave under pressure. Friends observe how you speak about people who aren't present. The life you live quietly influences everyone around you. Whether you realize it or not, someone is learning from your example every day. Choose to model patience. Choose to model honesty. Choose to model compassion. These qualities spread naturally. As life moves forward, it is easy to become focused on collecting possessions, a larger house, a newer car, more expensive belongings. While there is nothing wrong with enjoying the rewards of hard work, remember that material things have limits. Eventually, every possession wears out, becomes outdated, or is left behind. Character lasts much longer. The kindness you showed, the encouragement you offered, the values you lived by, the lives you improved. These become your true legacy. Imagine attending your own retirement celebration many years from now. People probably won't spend much time talking about the size of your office or the model of your car. Instead, they'll remember how you treated people, whether you listened, whether you encouraged others, whether you acted with honesty, whether you made them feel respected. That is the impact that truly lasts. As you reflect on your own life, ask yourself a simple question. Whose life is better because I was part of it? The answer doesn't have to involve thousands of people. Even changing one life matters. One child, one friend, one family member, one co-worker, one neighbor. Never underestimate the value of changing one person's world. In the end, a meaningful life is not measured by how much you accumulated, but by how much you contributed. It is not measured by how many people knew your name, but by how many lives were brighter because of your presence. Every act of kindness, every honest decision, every encouraging conversation, every opportunity to serve, these become the threads that weave together a life of lasting significance. As you continue building a better way to live, remember that your greatest success will never be found in what you own. It will be found in the difference you make. Because the most meaningful legacy is not something you leave behind after you're gone. It is the positive impact you create every single day you choose to live with compassion, integrity, generosity, and love. Chapter 12. Your better life starts today. There is a moment in every life when thinking is no longer enough. You can read books, listen to advice, make plans, set goals, and imagine a better future. All of that matters. But at some point, the question changes. It is no longer, what should I do? The real question becomes, what will I actually begin today? That question matters because a better life is not built in theory. It is built in action. After everything we have explored in this audiobook, one truth stands above the rest. Change becomes real only when it enters daily life. A healthy body is created by repeated choices. A calmer mind is shaped by repeated thoughts. Strong relationships are built through repeated kindness. Purpose grows through repeated intention. A meaningful life is not the result of one dramatic event. It is the result of many small decisions made consistently over time. This is good news because it means you do not need to become a different person overnight. You do not need a perfect personality, a flawless schedule, or a complete reinvention. You only need a willingness to begin. Too often, people delay transformation because they believe they must start in a grand way. They wait for Monday. They wait for a new month. They wait for more money, more energy, more motivation, or a less stressful season. But the perfect moment rarely arrives. Life keeps moving, and the longer we wait, the more difficult change begins to feel. Today is powerful because it is real. Today is the only time you can make a decision that matters. If you want a better life, begin by choosing one habit that supports the person you want to become. It may be something simple. Drink more water. Go to bed earlier. Take a walk after dinner. Read 10 pages before sleeping. Put your phone away during meals. Say thank you more often. Spend 5 quiet minutes reflecting each morning. These small actions may seem ordinary, but repeated over time, they become the structure of a better life. Progress often begins in ways that are so small they almost feel unimportant, yet the smallest step is still a step forward, and when steps are repeated, they become movement. Movement becomes momentum. Momentum becomes transformation. One of the greatest obstacles to change is perfectionism. Many people believe that if they cannot do something perfectly, they should not do it at all. That kind of thinking keeps them stuck. A better life does not require perfection. It requires persistence. You may miss a day. You may lose focus. You may return to old habits. That does not mean you have failed. It means you are human. The important thing is to return without giving up on yourself. Every new day offers a new beginning. You do not have to be defined by yesterday's mistakes, unfinished plans, or wasted time. You can begin again this morning. You can choose differently at lunch. You can make one wiser decision tonight. Change is not always visible at first, but it begins the moment you decide that your future deserves attention. As you create your roadmap for lasting change, keep it simple. Do not build a plan so complicated that it becomes impossible to follow. Choose habits you can repeat even on difficult days. Choose actions that fit your real life, not an ideal version of it. A plan that is too ambitious often breaks under pressure. A plan that is simple and steady has the power to last. It also helps to connect your habits to your values. When you remember why something matters, it becomes easier to continue. You do not exercise only to look better. You exercise because you want energy, strength, and a healthier future. You do not protect your time simply to be busy. You protect it because your life is too valuable to spend carelessly. You do not build better relationships just to avoid conflict. You do it because people matter. You do it because love matters. You do it because your life becomes richer when shared well. The better way to live is not about becoming impressive. It is about becoming intentional. That shift changes everything. You begin to ask better questions. Is this helping me grow? Is this bringing peace or stress? Is this habit shaping the life I want? Is this choice aligned with who I want to become? These questions slowly guide your decisions toward a more meaningful path. And perhaps the most important lesson of all is this. You do not need to wait until your life feels ready before you begin. Life rarely feels ready. The house may still be messy, the schedule may still be crowded, the doubts may still be there. But action has a way of building confidence. The more you do, the more capable you feel. The more you practice, the stronger you become. The more you live intentionally, the more natural a better life begins to feel. So start today. Not tomorrow, not someday, today. Choose one habit, take one step, make one change, then repeat it tomorrow and the next day and the day after that. Give your future something to build on. Give your mind a direction. Give your body better care. Give your relationships more attention. Give your life the respect it deserves. A better life is not hiding somewhere far away. It is waiting in the ordinary moments of your everyday choices. And now, with everything you have learned, you are ready to begin. As we come to the end of this journey, remember that the purpose of this audiobook was never to fill your mind with information. It was to inspire transformation. Throughout these chapters, you've discovered that a healthier, happier, and more meaningful life isn't created through one extraordinary decision. It's built through countless small choices, choosing healthy habits over unhealthy ones, gratitude over complaint, purpose over distraction, kindness over indifference, and progress over perfection. The road ahead won't always be easy. There will be days when you feel motivated and days when you don't. There will be setbacks, distractions, and moments when old habits try to pull you back. That's part of every meaningful journey. Don't let those moments convince you to stop. Simply begin again. Remember, you don't have to change everything today. Just change one thing, one habit, one mindset, one conversation, one decision. Those small actions, repeated consistently, have the power to reshape your future in ways you cannot yet imagine. As you move forward, don't measure your success by how quickly you arrive. Measure it by whether you're becoming a little wiser, a little healthier, a little kinder, and a little more intentional than you were yesterday. Your life is your greatest project, and every new sunrise gives you another opportunity to shape it with purpose. Protect your health, nurture your relationships, guard your time, continue learning, and never stop becoming the person you were meant to be. Thank you for spending this time with me. I hope these ideas stay with you long after this audiobook ends. Because a better way to live isn't found by waiting for a better future. It's created by the choices you make, starting today.